What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's your boy Dwell with another episode of Sideways. Sideways TV, Sideways Entertainment, Sideways Podcast, Sideways Music. Call it what you want to call it. I'll always be coming at you sideways. I hope everybody's having a good day, a good time, a good week. It's the first weekend of December, you know. It's been a weird year. 2020's been a weird year. Pero aquí estamos, gracias a Dios, you know. Some of us doing better than others, some of us doing worse than others. But as long as you're breathing, you know, one way or another you pull through, hopefully, you know. That's what I hope we can do, you know what I mean? It's been a weird year, definitely, for sure, you know, with all this COVID. Recently I've been going back to work. It's been a little weird because I got sick the other weekend. Like I said, I posted a video about that. I had to take some time off work till I got my results. But then it's always a back and forth. You hear somebody at work, they got sick, their family member got sick, or they know somebody that got sick and they saw them, and it's just like a big old mess sometimes, man. Gets you a little, you know, I don't get too scared about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, hopefully everybody's staying safe. This video, I basically want to talk about music, you know, because I have some, for a good portion of my life, pretty much half my life, you know what I mean? I've been doing music myself personally, which is rapping, at least in that aspect of music, rapping, writing, you know. Pretty much right now, a little bit ago, I saw my little daughter and my wife were watching the series of Selena. You know, a lot of people know who Selena is, a lot of you don't, but she's a Mexican American musician who passed away a couple years, who was doing it big, and unfortunately she lost her life due to a murder. You know, she got murdered, which is sad. You know, I mean, she was coming up. You know, I remember I was still a kid when I started when she was barely like doing her thing. You know, but pretty much, you know, my daughter, there was a little clip. I sat down real quick. I wasn't watching it. And she was recording, and my little daughter looked at me, and I had a little smile on my face. She's like, "Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?" And I was like, you know, because they were recording in a garage. You know what I mean? It's the Selena. I don't really know what it's about, but I'm guessing it's about her life. Pero estaban grabando en un garage. So she was, "Why are you smiling?" And I said, "Because you know what? I've done that before, you know what I mean? I've done that. I've actually recorded like that, you know what I mean? It's cool. Gave me a little memory flashback and a little, like, you know what? I told my daughter, you know what? I can say I did something like that, you know what I mean? I'm not a big time rapper, you know. Pretty much I'm not known, you know. A lot of people don't know me. Pretty much just my friends know who I am. Certain people around here know what I do, what I've done, you know. People I've met through my years that I've been living. But pretty much, you know, I go by Dwell. I always have, and here and there I add some aliases to my name. You know, of course, Dwell is my alias. That's my main alias, and that's how a lot of my friends know me as Dwell. So that's why that's my rapping name. But pretty much, that's what I want to talk about. You know what I mean? Talk a little bit of how I got into music. I have I have, over the years, I've recorded probably like 30, 40 songs. You know what I mean? Some with good quality, some with less quality, some in good studios, some in homemade studios. And, but pretty much it's all been a good memory, man. Good time, a good experience for the little bit that I've seen, you know, and, in the side of, in the music world, you know, or in the music scene, you know what I mean? I've gotten to meet some cool people on the road, you know what I mean? Well, in my little run-ins that I've done, you know, studied music and whatnot. Pretty much I've been in music, you know. I got introduced to music at a very young age, you know what I mean? From whatever my parents used to listen to, you know what I mean? My parents used to listen to a good variety of music, you know. Like I said in a couple videos, my family grew up here, so I listened to a lot of the Mexican music, you know what I mean? A lot of A lot of good cultural music, Los Bukis, different eras of music that my parents got into. On top of that, my parents used to listen to a lot of American music, you know what I mean, from back in the day too. Pretty much through them, I got introduced to oldies, funk, you know what I mean, a couple different types of music. So in that aspect, I got introduced to music at a very young age. You know, my dad used to sit down, literally, drink some beers, and just bump different types of music, bump some oldies. You know what I mean? Some funk, and that's how I started picking up on the music scene. More on the English side than Spanish side. You know what I mean? I didn't really. They would. My mom was more of bumping English. You know what I mean? Spanish. But it took a while for me to pick up more on the Spanish, on the genres, and as of today, I listen to pretty much everything. You know what I mean? All types of music from now to and be behind. You know what I mean? And different styles from rock to corridos to mariachi to romanticas to oldies to funk to rap to rock and roll. So that, and on top of that, I've always been an artistic kid. You know what I mean? I've always been an artistic person. Since kid, I always like drawing, you know. So I was pretty good at it, but I never became focused on it. You know, I was introduced to music a good through my cousins too. You know what I mean? Through my cousins started really getting into music. On top of that, I think the artistic comes from my family. You know, from my mom's side of the family. I have a lot of cousins for sure that are artists. You know, that they can paint for sure, paint, draw. I have a couple cousins that are into that, and eventually I noticed one of my uncles was a poet. I remember him growing up. I used to hear him write poems. You know what I mean? And once or twice I heard him at one or two events actually spit his poems, you know, in Spanish. And so eventually I also started getting introduced through to music by my cousins. My cousins, you know, I remember at a certain time in my life, they started shifting to Christianity. You know what I mean? To Christianity and an aspect of the religion portion of it. You know, because my family's always been a faithful family. You know, a spiritual family in that aspect. But at a very young age, they also started contributing and joining the church groups. So they started picking up the guitars, they started picking up the drums, they started picking up the bass, the keyboards, and a good portion of my cousins can pretty much play all of those instruments. You know what I mean? I don't know what else, but I know a couple of my cousins could play each one individually can play like at least 3 or 4 instruments, and they sing. You know what I mean? So I'd hang out with them. They'd let me borrow the guitar. I started picking up on a couple of notes. But I never took it serious, you know. I never took it to that extent. But I would always be around them when they were playing for a couple hours and hours while they were practicing, trying to learn, you know, so they could sing at the church. So that's always been it's a memory, you know, that I have. But I remember getting into rap at about junior high when I started really listening to rap. You know what I mean? You start listening to Snoop Dogg. I'm from California. Start listening to Snoop, you know, Dre. The beginning, you know, the popular songs. You know what I mean? Pretty much when I used to have some friends, you know, right here in Santana. We would always play around, have our fun, do our troublemaking. It was 2 brothers. I mean, there were more. There were 3 or 4 brothers, but I got to meet one because he was older already, and 2 were at my age. They used to live right here in Santana, but eventually they moved out to Arizona. And this is how basically I got into doing rap pretty much. Pretty much one of those guys came back for the summer like 2-3 years later. He was already 15, 16 at this time. 15, 16. He's like 2 years older than me. So I was like 14, 13. He came back. He came back with long hair. At those times, everybody was dressing with Timberlands, like all that FUBU gear. You know what I mean? FUBU, that Fat Farm. You know, all that stuff. You know, it was about a 2003, 2001 time. You know, Came back with long hair, like he would braid his hair and all that from Arizona. He came back, and he all of a sudden, he was like, "Check it out, I rap." Uh, they call me Cheerio. We're like, "What? Nah, for reals? Like, we don't believe you." And all of a sudden, he started spitting. You know what I mean? We're like, "Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool." He's like, you guys want to see how to record?" So he introduced us to programs. He brought us. He showed us a program he was using called Magix, because him and his brothers met a group of people that started rapping in Arizona. So it was me and my one of my friends. His name was Gerson, but we used to call him Jason. So he started introducing us to the music programs. You know what I mean? It was a cheapy program. He's like, order it online. It's called Magix. Order it. It cost me like $20. I remember I was the one that bought it. I ordered it, and pretty much he showed us. We had a cheapy mic. We just had a desktop. You know what I mean? The old school desktops back in 90. Back that desktop was probably from like 1998, 99. You know what I mean? I don't remember, but pretty much, he got us into writing music, and we went by I went by Dwell. No, actually I went by the name Inferno. That was my first rapping name. I always went by Dwell, but my rapping name was Inferno. That was my first rapping name. He was Cheerio. His name was Cheerio. And then my boy Jason Gerson, his name was Hypnotic. So pretty much we made a group. Us three made a group called Trapped Souls. And this guy's brothers, Cheerio's brothers, would make beats. So every time he'd come, he'd be here for the whole summer. So the whole summer, we'd do some ghetto recordings. You know what I mean? We'd do like 10 tracks at least at the end of the summer. But when he'd come back the next year, he came back on and off maybe for like 4 years, 5 years. He'd bring beats, a couple beats. He'd show us how to sample the beats, cut beats up, and reuse those. Like we started using funk beats, and cutting them up, oldie beats, cutting them up to where it has that little kick and that bass, So pretty much we thanks to that guy Cheerio, I got introduced to rapping, where he showed me how to write and how to put a song together in reality. From there he stopped coming along after like a year or two. Like I said, I think it was like 3 or 4, more or less. It could have been 2 or 3 years. Let's just go with 4. After like 4 years, 3 years, he stopped coming by. Well, it was far. He started, grew up, 18, 19 by that time. Like I said, he was like 16 when he was coming back. And then he like I said, he went on. He did. We went back over there like once and saw him in Arizona, visited him and his family, because they were cool people, real cool people. One of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. Shout out to Cheerio and EVD. You know what I mean? That's what his other brother went by, EVD. He was a rapper too. His younger brother, that's my age. From there, pretty much, me and my homeboy Hypnotic kept it going for a little bit. We kept it going for a little bit. In my garage, we'd be using the same program, Magix. I always liked writing. You know what I mean? I couldn't deal. It's a lot of time and respect. Engineering or manipulating the buttons on the computer for your voice, for all the sound effects you want to add to your song. So my homeboy Hypnotic, I mean, he would get a little loped out, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? He'd get pretty much stuck on the computer, and he started doing good. He started learning. He was better. I could say he was a better spitter than I was too. That was my boy though, ride or die, Gerson Mendoza. Shout out if you ever see this video. Hypnotic. Later on, he changed his name to Arsenal. Hypnotic, aka Arsenal, and then he just kind of little by little dropped the name Hypnotic and went by Arsenal. But he always referenced Hypnotic, But he started going by my name, Arsenal. I don't have no tracks. Oh, there is one track on YouTube called the Funkified Hip Hop. He spits the hook. You know what I mean? It's pretty old. That song's probably like 15 years old by now. And little by little, we ended up bringing one of my other homies named Excel in the mix, but he didn't really get too into the rapping like me and him did, like me and my homeboy Hypnotic, Arsenal. We still kept going with the Trap Souls theme, TRAPPDSOULS. We did a couple of tracks together. Shout outs to him. After a while, yeah, we started getting into the gangs or the crews, whatever you want to call it, the cliques. But we started getting pretty much involved in the streets. And we started rapping about, the clique, the homies, and doing music for them. And pretty much we always got love from our homies. And everybody we showed our music to, we always got love. You know what I mean? And it's a long story, there was a point where my homeboy's brother, go by Blackie, shout out to him too. He tried to hook us up with another a DJ, no big name, just somebody that had a DJ and could make beats. And but I guess that guy, we went one time, we started rapping. We were kids. This was like about 14, 15. But see, it's the experience. We would go out, you know what I mean? We would go out and meet people. And at this point, this guy didn't want to do anything with us. He was older. I don't know what his head was, but his brother said he didn't want nothing with us. He didn't want to do nothing with us. And but pretty much for a good portion of the time, while me and Hypnotic, we didn't really take it to an extreme of to buying beats, to making beats, to connecting with people, to hooking up. We were just having fun with it. That's all it really was. Recording for ourselves and for our friends. The friends in the neighborhood right there where we grew up at. Shout out to all my homies from the neighborhood where I grew up at. You guys know where it's at, Ánimo a la delincuencia. But I'm not condoning any neighborhood stuff though. But shout out to all my homies for sure. Then after that, my homeboy Menace, that's his other name, but a rapping name, Arsenal. Eventually he had a kid, you know what I mean? He got a little bit too extreme with the location, you know what I mean? Getting all locked out. So him and his wife had to move, or lady, whatever's, had to move out of state. They moved out of state, tried doing their own thing over there. Pretty much, they're over there now. They got kids. I don't speak to him. He's just gone, basically. He lives over there. But I do see his brother. You know what I mean? Me and his brother once in a while post up. Just I don't see him now due to the COVID and all that stuff. I kind of been keeping to myself, just going to work for my family. But eventually, like I said, it was all just for fun. It's always been for fun. He moved out. I took a little minor break. Eventually, I would still do the same thing, sample beats. Loop beats, record to myself in my house, you know what I mean? But I never really learned the how to engineer, you know what I mean? How to cut, how to edit vocals or nothing like that. I never took the time. I just like writing. I'd always write. I never stopped writing. Eventually, you know what I mean? This guy, this guy was the first guy I ever saw freestyling in the streets. You know what I mean? At a young age, where I was amazed. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shoot, this guy's rapping, freestyling in the street. Just a random guy going. I remember that verse. Tengo mi tejana y mi bota, sabes true. Derecho de Santana, Guatemala, something like that. But he does spit. Tengo mi tejana y mi bota, sabes true. Derecho de Santana, and then he just kept going. I was just like, oh damn, that's crazy, His name was Cheese. He's still my boy till today, you know what I mean? He's still my boy. Shout outs to my homeboy Cheese. He's older than me. He's from a different era, you know what I mean? He's older than me. He's probably like 48 right now. I don't know, more or less, you know what I mean? He's an old school cat, But pretty much because of him, I ran into him one day and I was like, hey, aren't you Cheese? You're the rapper. You're the guy, this and that. I chopped it up with him. He was always into rapping, you know what I mean? And from there, that's when he was like, hey, check it out. I'm going to introduce you to my boy that sells beats. And then from there, pretty much, I started seeing a different side of the music, you know what I mean? I started putting more effort on leasing beats, I guess, from different people. I started meeting different people that make beats. And that's how I started working, man. And then I started through him I met, a good amount of people. I mean, that were just into the music. I started meeting Mike Hempstead. They're local rappers from Santana. Look him up, Mike Hempstead. I also started meeting the Rebel, and then just other people. It's a trip when you start networking with people. You start seeing how there's a lot of rappers out here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to talk about that too in a different video. This is just basically me a little story of how I started rapping. And pretty much through him I started meeting people that are good with the computer stuff. They started having better mics. Eventually, I started recording in real studios. You know what I mean? 1 or 2 tracks at least, because it's expensive. You know what I'm saying? If you want to make a full CD, it's expensive. So once I really noticed how much money you're gonna make if you add it up, spend or invest to do a couple of songs, it could easily go up to $1,000 like that. Depending on how much money you want to spend. But yeah, so eventually I did take some little time to practice the programs. Right now I use Ableton Live. It's the basic program, but it manages. I don't want to invest too much in the technology, because to this day I don't think that's my focus. I've tried making beats. I bought a keyboard, and I probably could do it, but that's just not my focus. You know what I mean? I just like writing. If I write, I'd rather take the time on writing and writing something good. So yeah, pretty much, I write my own stuff, and I write my own stuff for sure. Always write my own stuff. I'm not the fastest writer, but I could write my own stuff. I here and there I can freestyle. Here and there I can't, depending the scene, the environment, and the feeling. I might be able to kick some good flows, but for the most part, I'm more of a writer. Eventually, I started hanging out with different people that like freestyling. You start meeting different rappers that like freestyling. You start kicking flows. Eventually, people that don't even rap start flowing with you. It's a little good art form if you want to pursue it. I never took it that serious. Till today I'm still writing. I have some beats that I picked out. I haven't bought them yet. I really don't buy my beats till I make sure I'm gonna have a good song to it, because I don't just want to have, it's money. I pretty much I lease them because it's money. But I'm writing a couple songs right now too. But check out my videos, man. I have some tracks on there. I have a track called I have a CD with like 8 or 9 tracks that I released. That's my latest things that I've done. About a year ago, or in the beginning of this year, I think I uploaded them, or the end of last year. It's called my CD is called No Hay Amor, Where I'm From. That's dedicated to Santana, pretty much. And that could go for anybody out there. Everybody from the hood, from the streets, from your city. Are you from a rough city? You could relate to that title, No Hay Amor, Where I'm From. Just through everything that goes around, everything that you see, everything that happens, even if you're not a part of it, you get to see all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, eventually I started buying my own headphones, my own mics. I started putting some money into it. I got like 2 mics right now. They're not the most expensive, but or the best quality, but they're enough to do the job. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a good little fun experience. At one point, you know what I mean, I got to meet this rapper named Tumex. He's an underground rapper, pretty famous. A lot of people know who he is, a lot of people don't, but he's from the underground scene. Eventually, that's a little story too. Like 3 times he came down to Santana. Like twice he was in Santana, and we actually chopped it up with that guy and smoked some weed with him. And down to earth guy, real cool guy. I was a kid, 16, 17 years old. The 3rd time we saw him, it was I think somewhere in Santana too. Somewhere in Santana, he came down, and he came down by himself this time. I remember, and we asked him, "Man, you want to smoke weed?" He was like, "Yeah." It was me and a couple of my friends. He's like, "Come, hop onto my tour bus." He had a tour bus. It's more like a school bus, but obviously it wasn't yellow, but it's those buses. It was a bus. It was, with a couple seats. So pretty much me and my boys, my homies, we filled up the seats. And he started bumping his music, blazing it with us, and he was chopping it up with us. Tumex, real cool guy. Shout out to Tumex. I think he still does music. And if not, still support his other music from back in the day. Nah, I know he still does music. I saw a video post up not that long ago, but he's Raza too, so support the Raza. You know what I mean? Um, and I told him, hey, check it out. Hey man, I have a CD. You want to listen to it? At that time, I had a little mixtape. Like I said, it might have not been high quality. I even told him it's not high quality, man. But I have it right there. And I had like 4 or 5 tracks that I knew were cool. At least I was spitting in them cool. He was like, yeah, go ahead, bring it. I was like, oh, you know what? Right when he said, go ahead, bring it, we'll play it right now. I was like, damn, I didn't bring my car. I came with somebody else. I was like, I have it in my car. But then I realized, I was like, I don't even have my car, man. Damn. He was like, ah, that's cool, man. Maybe next time if we ever meet again. You know what I mean? And I actually did see him one more time. He was in downtown Santana freestyling, you know, and we were but at that moment I forgot. There was a good amount of people, and it was a hip hop show, pretty much underground scene, and yeah, I didn't have the courage to go up to him, and I didn't even think about it no more, you know, because there's times and on and off where I like for a good little while I haven't done writing. Till recently, last week or 2 weeks ago, I just started picking up the pen, writing a song or two, you know, started writing, you know. It's just eras, you know. Like I said, I've never taken it that serious, you know, never taken it that serious. But the times that I do, it's always an experience. You meet people, you start seeing new things, and it's fun. It's a fun experience. That's why I'm doing this video today. And for all you kids, all you young people, if you have like me, I'm pretty much, I've always been pretty good at everything I do. I used to draw. I tried playing the guitar a little bit, and I started picking it up. You know what I mean? Like I said, even writing music, I consider myself pretty good at it. I used to skate, and I was good at it. I used to like even my job that I do, I'm pretty good at it. I'm a carpenter. I'm a painter. I picked them up. I started picking them up. Obviously, now I dedicate more time, and I always have, to my job, to what I do, because that's what gets me paid. But I always come back to I've tried. I got work. I started working in the trying to make videos. As you can see, I have a camera. I bought a small time movie editing program, and I picked it up a little bit, you know, a little bit to where I even made a music video myself. I recorded myself pretty much, but it's on YouTube. Check it out. If you can, please like and subscribe. Pretty much, you know, I never took none of my things serious, but I'm pretty sure if I probably did, or if I do, but you got to put the time and the effort. You know, you got to put the time and the effort, and pretty much if you put the time and the effort and you're good at it, if you feel you're good at it, and because you know you could be whack too, and you could think you're good at it, but if you feel you're good at it, keep going, man. You know, that was my thing. I never took one thing serious. I like always going from one thing to another, and I didn't put the time or the effort to that level to where I could probably make something out of it, whatever it was, art, skating, music. Like I said, I did a couple of things, but I always fall back onto writing because it helps for some reason, it helps my mind. You know what I mean? It clears my mind, and that's why I always come back to it. Even if I just write music, it keeps my mind busy. It keeps you out of trouble. You know, I've always, and when I write music, I always try to write to different types of beats, whether it's hip hop, old school, new school, mellow, fast. I try to change it up. You know, I don't just want to stick to one type of beat. But there is a type of beat that I like for sure. But just a little advice to everybody, you know, if there's something you like and you think you're good at it, keep going for it, man. Keep going for it, because even if you don't make it big, you don't have to make it big. The thing is that it's fun. There's fun, and you will meet people. You will see what it really is. You know what I mean? You will be, obviously, you're going to meet haters in the way too. I met 1 or 2 haters, but it's also what you bring out. If you're a hater or whatnot, you're going to meet more haters, obviously. But if you're a cool guy, you're going to get a lot of respect. You know what I mean? And it's always fun. No matter what you want to do, stick to it. Take the ride, and as long as you don't hurt nobody and nobody hurts you, it's gonna be a good experience. And that's how I started get. That's how I got into rapping, everybody. And to this day, I still rap. And like I said, that's why I made this video, because it's cool, you know. Like I've recorded in garages, I've recorded in rooms, I've recorded in real studios, I recorded in my own house, my own stuff. I've had other people record for me. I've rapped with other people, you know, and it's just a cool experience. You start meeting people that sell beats. You start meeting people that all they do is engineer. So it's a little good experience. It was a fun experience, at least till now. You know what I mean? And pretty much that's how I got this setup to do my YouTube stuff through my music. Pretty much this setup is for my music, but I've been doing more of this YouTube stuff. So yeah, that's my what I wanted to talk about. You know, I'm close to 500 subscribers, so please show some love, show some support, so I could keep getting subscribers. Much love to all my gente, to all my raza, to all my people out there hustling, getting theirs, showing love, no hate. You know, keep show some support. Drop some comments, some likes. That way I could keep dropping videos and putting more effort into this also. You know, if this is what you want to do some YouTube stuff, some videos. It also takes time, money, and passion, and you got to get to it. You know, do it and you'll have fun with it. You know, I'm having fun with this and music. Pretty much the music, rapping, and doing this YouTube stuff helps my mind keep busy, you know, and keeps me out of trouble. So hopefully everybody stay safe, protect your family, stay healthy, and hopefully you like and subscribe and listen to my music at Sideways Entertainment, or just type up Esedwell, ESEDWELL, and you'll see my tracks on there. You know what I mean? Peace.